Welcome along to the Wise Men Say preview show. We're back to look ahead to Sunderland's game against Rotherham United on Saturday afternoon, and I'm reunited with two old favourites. It's Tom's back. Hi, Tom.
Hello, Matthew. How are we doing?
I'm all right. Yeah, I'm good. I'm not bad. How are you? Are you back on the continent now?
I am back on the gorgeous my continent. Um, it's so hot here, which is very nice. Um, but I did spend 2 weeks uh, in the UK where I managed to get a cold.
Right.
So you're enjoying, and it's nice to see the British summertime living up to its reputation while I was back home. So
Well, absolutely. Someone enjoying the British summertime on his holidays is Mr. James Ray. Hi, Jim.
Good afternoon. Yeah, I'm on the last day of my holidays now.
Oh,
In sun.
that's a terrible vibe. You're
Uh,
oh
going to do this.
no,
You
oh no,
shouldn't
no,
say.
it's been a good holiday. It's been a good holiday. I'm in Norfolk, so lots of Norwich shirts have been spotted by me
Yeah.
recently. So yeah, been sunburned, not as sunburned as last year, but I am a little bit sunburned.
Yeah. Oh, that was amazing.
I'm
Yeah.
not.
yeah.
I'm not fully red. I'm more like a nice pink.
You're
I'd
so
say.
warm last year. You almost made. I think you were making my laptop overheat with the
Yeah. Well, yeah.
warmth coming off your
Because
face.
I just can't tan, so I just go varying shades of red. So I'm currently probably
Yeah.
like a 6 out of 10 in the
Yeah,
red
but
Oh,
you
really?
are
scale.
you
I'm
are
very
allowed
much
to
like
wear
that.
suntan cream, mind.
Yeah.
You don't
Oh
Yeah.
no,
just.
I do. If I didn't, I'd probably have no skin.
Yeah.
So
It's terrifying thought. That's awful. Well, fresh off the podcast on Monday, which was very good and got well deserved praise. I thought I'd start tonight with a question for you. And I was thinking about, you get up in the middle of the night for a wee. What is the worst thing to stand on? Like, so I stood on a plug the other day while I was walking to the back, and it really
Hmm.
that is up there, really.
I was going to say a plug. For me, also another one would be my cat. That would be
Yeah.
another bad because he likes to sleep on the floor of our bedroom sometimes, and I sometimes have nearly stepped on him. But I think in terms of pain for me would be a plug.
I think
Definitely.
a plug, yeah.
In terms of general bad times would be definitely the cat because it would probably really hurt him, and
Yeah, well, it hurt you as well.
he'd probably in turn scratch me,
Yeah.
and that would definitely ruin the rest of my night's sleep. So I'd go for plug slash cat.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Tom, any upgrade on plug?
I'd say either Lego
Yeah, Lego was up. Yeah.
or like just like water. If there's like
Oh.
a damp spot on your
Oh yeah.
on your
Mm.
carpet,
Oh yeah, especially
you
if you've
don't.
got a dog as well. What is that?
I'm gonna. Yeah, I was gonna say you don't want to in the middle of the night. You don't want to stand in anything like soft.
No.
No, there's nothing soft or damp.
Yeah,
Really.
Yeah,
God.
and
Well, I guess yeah. Oh
it,
dear. Well, if
it
anyone's
remi-
got
sorry, it reminds me of when a mate of mine lived in student halls in Newcastle, and he got infested with slugs.
Oh
So
no.
like, yeah, standing on a
oh
slug
no,
in the middle of the night would not be
Oh,
good.
I hate slugs as well. That would be horrible.
that's grim. At least you'd know if you stood on a snail. The
Yeah, crunchy times.
yeah, I
Oh,
guess if you've got any upgrade on slugs or Lego or plugs, I guess a landmine would be the ultimate sort of
or
really.
glass.
Like
Yeah,
just like
left a claymore lying
yeah,
around again.
just
Oh
yeah, I
no.
just forgot I put them landmines in the living room. I've stood on one of them. But yeah, I guess if you think of anything worse than standing on a landmine in the middle of the night, then do tweet us. It's good to sort of bring this level sort of back after their praise on Monday.
Yeah.
Right, we're gonna have to talk about some football stuff before we get shouted at by the masses. Um, Tom, we still haven't bought a striker.
Yeah.
Why?
I don't know, Matthew. I feel I've been doing this pod for a couple of years now, and I feel that we talk about this every year at length,
Hmm.
that we haven't bought the players that we need, and it's getting it's getting pretty ridiculous now. Um, part of the Wise Men Say team, Stephen Kennedy, sent us a nice little like graph before in the group chat, which detailed every player, every striker we've bought on a on a on a permanent deal or on a free since, 2011. And for example, since like the only one in the past, it's a very depressing list, I would say. Since Ross Stewart, we've bought Mitchell Curry, Danny Graham, Will Harris, Jermaine Defoe, Max Thompson, Elise. Who the hell is Elisa Mayenda? And
that's him. That's him that came and got injured on his first day.
okay, right, and also Hamia. None of those players have done anything, and none of those players have seemed even remotely ready for first team football. And so here we are again, 18 months since we bought Ross Stewart. Even at the time, we were saying we're going to need more than Ross Stewart. And here we are, 2 games into the season, and we're not even playing the only striker we have because the manager says he's not ready. And we've had 2, like, how long ago was she sold? Like a week and a half?
Good. I would say a good couple of weeks. I think
It was just after the Hartlepool game.
Yeah,
right?
I think he was sold before the start of the season. So
2 weeks, and we still don't have anyone in, and it doesn't look like we're going to have one in by Saturday. So that's good.
They've got arguably 20 hours, I'd say, to get him in before Saturday.
For all this, people eulogizing this amazing transfer model that we have. Like, how can you go into the season with, again, no strikers and no defensive centre midfielders?
It's getting to the point now, Jim, where you're like, why are you doing is it?
Absolutely, it makes no sense.
I know strikers are. It's arguably quite difficult to find a striker. It's they come at a premium. We clearly don't have very much money. But why are they doing this, Jim? Why are they?
Well, I honestly, I don't
know.
Yeah, no, it is absolutely, it is, and it has been for a while. To be fair, I mean, obviously, I like to try and be positive where I can, but I'm not just going to lie and say this is good because it's clearly not. I mean, I don't get it. I mean, there's clubs. I mean, I understand the windows are shut. I understand there's time left. I understand that players can be signed on loan later in the window, whatever. But there's clubs in the league who you'd say they should surely be less of a pull, even financially, than we are, who are signing strikers. And we are just not. And it's worrying because getting back to what the lads were saying on Monday, it's like it makes you question what is actually going on. On a footballing level, it doesn't make any sense. On a commercial level, it doesn't really make any sense because, like Chris was saying, surely the best way to make some money from the club is to have the club actually, getting promoted, challenging promotion, try to do well, and to do that, you need to give the manager the tools to do that. And it just feels like Mowbray's been constantly having a manager with one hand tied behind his back. And I feel it's very easy for people to turn around and blame Mowbray for the first 2 games. I thought, actually, similar to what Phil said on the pod, I think we were, if I'm honest, probably quite unlucky to lose both of those games, certainly both of them in the way that we did. I think Mowbray is continuing to do the best he can with what the tools he's been given, which is, as he keeps saying, as we keep saying, as loads of other people keep saying, a very, very unbalanced squad. Like you said, there's no defensive midfielder, there's no senior striker available. I mean, Hemia, it's too early to know whether he's any good or not, but surely the worst way to find that out is by just starting him on his own with no support and no option to really just ease him in. You're basically asking a guy who's never played senior football before to come in and be, if we want to be where the club have said they want us to be, challenging for promotion, and is he really the right guy to be leading the line for that club? I mean, patently not. It just makes me wonder, what is what's happening. Fair enough, deals to be able to do, but like you mentioned, the lack of funds issue raises its head for me there, because I'm thinking, why is it so much harder for us than it is for other teams to get? I mean, even I think today Hull signed Scott Twine from Burnley. I'm not saying Scott Twine's necessarily a striker, but he's a player who's very good at championship level, proven, isn't really even that old. I think he's 26.
Yeah,
and that's too old for us.
Yeah,
yeah. I mean, yeah. and probably too expensive for us as well, because
Took him on loan,
you know
didn't he?
he's going to have to be paid, a man's wage, if you like, rather than the
Like
wages,
for kids,
rather than
like
the wages of like an 18,
YTS.
19-year-old. Yeah. Well, exactly, essentially, yeah, and it's things like that happen. I mean, you look at Ipswich when we played them. Tom, I know you've mentioned Ipswich and how many strikers they've got. When you saw them in pre-season, didn't you? And I remember you commented then saying, like, they seem like they've got a really good balanced squad. Like they were, they had lots of senior professionals. They had a good balance, and when we played, it was very evident that they had that balance as well. And then they're a newly promoted side, and that was us last year in terms of being hitting the ground running and looking good. And I just don't want us all the good work that's been done to be sort of thrown away through stubbornness slash.
That is
I
what
don't
it
know
seems
what
to be. I think you
stubbornness,
like,
and also
stubbornness
a
there.
possibly like stubbornness combined with a worrying lack of actual
Yeah, I didn't.
if you
It
like.
just seems to like as if they've sort of looking at the team now and they're just going, nah, it's probably going to be all right. It's not going to get relegated, and we're quite happy with that. And that's like just so shit.
Well, yeah, I mean, like Gareth said, like if that's what the aim is, then why
Yeah,
should we
well,
bother
yeah.
going to the match? Like, oh, like like when he was like, oh well, when he's like, a child's not going to grow up being, oh well, my favorite player wasn't actually a footballer. My favorite player was Christian Speakman, the sporting director. It's like people don't care about that sort of thing enough to make it
people,
like.
some people do.
Well, no, so yes, okay, some people do, but I mean, like people who actually want their football club to do well don't.
But I
Think on
think
those
that
terms,
is,
do they?
but that is, to be fair on that point though, Tom. Like even there are people who you've seen not in defend him for no reason, Speakman, but have very much been on Speakman's side through all this. You are starting to see people now think, right, what this doesn't seem quite right now. Why have we not?
I mean,
after the when Lee Hadji went, but we also after the Crew game, which was now nearly 10 days ago. Obviously, he was waiting for Tony Mowbray after the game to discuss strikers and whatever. Well, what were you like? What were you? It's not that hard to buy one. Like
it just doesn't add up, does it? It just doesn't add up.
2.5 years hard, like to buy one.
No, I mean, I was thinking this during the week when on the day we got promoted, when we were all having a lovely old time at Wembley. I think we did that. Like we did a pod then, and people was, and there was this amongst all the kind of joy and drunkenness. I mean, I said, like, I wonder how long it's going to take before they knack this up. Like, how together we were at that moment. And it's like, I wonder how long this club is going to take until they knack this up. And yeah, I mean, Speakman, I'm not a big fan of his just because of the way he talks mainly. But they gotta be seeing it's like, what are they? What are you doing? What is the point of all this?
Yeah,
like if you're not, it's a bit like in a way, it's a bit like how Mike Ashley ran Newcastle. It's like if we can get these young players in, sell them on for a big fee, that's great. And if the club ends up at 17th in the Premier League, that's perfect.
Yeah,
and I don't really need to invest anything. And I can this can all be like fine. And that's how it looks like how the club is being run at the moment.
It's strange, isn't it? Because it's like, Speakman is obviously the one that's getting the brunt of it. But it's like, well, what instructions is he under from above? Like, what's the chairman getting out? What's the owner getting out of this?
We've seen this before.
Well, exactly. It makes no sense if they're going to run it this way. How are they benefiting? How is anybody benefiting?
We've seen this before happen with Martin Bain, for example. It's like, yeah, he got all the stick, and rightly so, because he wasn't very good at what he did, and we got relegated. But he doesn't set the budget. Like Speakman isn't setting the budget. Louis Dreyfus and Sartori are setting the budget. So if Speakman and Stuart Harvey are like, right, well, we need to get a striker in, and they go to the board, and it's like, well, we need X amount, and if they say no, we need to get this player for £1 million, or for example. And then it's like, well, you're scrabbling around trying to, it's like, who are we going to buy for it? Like a championship striker for £1 million.
He's not going to get one.
You're not going to get one. And so I do feel a bit of sympathy for Speakman in that regard.
No, I do. I do, because you look, and Mowbray is operating with one, as you said, Jim, with one hand tied behind his back. Speakman is as well, clearly, because you look at we don't know the budget, we don't know how much money they've got, but it's quite clear that they don't have a lot, and that's not something for us to go into. That's a Chris Weatherspoon conversation.
Yeah. You've just
But
had your one Chris Weatherspoon pod for this season.
That's it.
So you're not going to get another one.
You're not going to get that. You're going to get Lego and walruses for the rest of the season, and that's what you want, really. But I think just like, not to go on about this all night, but it's like we're now. I know the window's still open, but like, the season doesn't wait though. Like, this is the third league game of the season coming up against Rotherham. Admittedly, it's quite, on paper, it's quite a kind game to have, but like, with 3 games into the season, if you don't pick up a win here, you Coventry away next week, and then it's sort of right. We need, but it seems very much at the minute that they're pinning their hopes on an Ahmad becoming available in the last week of the window.
Yeah. Well, it's like there's a balance.
There's like 4 or 5 games gone. Like, and
exactly.
If that doesn't happen, what happens then?
Well, that's it. There's a balance, isn't there? Because like, obviously, like, just losing two games in a row, especially the first 2 games, you can't write everything off, but you also can't say everything's fine. In the same way, if we won both of those games, things still wouldn't be fine, because we'd still have the same holes in the squad that we do now. And for me, like you say, it does increasingly seem like they're trying to wait for a loan. And I get waiting for a loan as well, but we shouldn't be just doing that.
Yeah,
we should be trying to spend some of our money on like a player who's actually ours, so that we don't have the scenario that we had. If we do get a really good loan like Ahmad, then when Ahmad left, the big hole left in the squad of like, if we like, obviously, like, I'm not saying I don't want us to sign a player of his quality, because clearly I do, but like, we're not going to be able to pay money for one, so we're going to have to loan them. And then in theory, the same thing could happen again next, you know, at the end of next season. It's like, it's kind of like kicking the can down the road, because it's like, you're pinning your hopes on something, and if it doesn't happen, then everything just has to go back to how it was. And like I say, it just worries me that, because it seems to me patently obvious that, and I kind of like, I at the start of the season, I sort of said like, I'm gonna kind of give them the benefit of the doubt that they are going to address the obvious issues that there were, and I'm kind of regretting saying that now, because I feel like they're not addressing them.
I don't think you should.
It's been obvious. I don't know. I mean, I'm still hopeful. Because I'm obviously Mr. Positive, as I've
you are, but
I'm still hopeful that things will turn around.
I don't think
I'm not. Well, hopefully you're right. I don't know. Maybe.
I don't think. I'm just saying. I
don't
think you should regret thinking that, because any sane sort of football club would learn from the mistakes.
Well, exactly. It's obvious. Like, we're literally living like Groundhog Day. Like, refreshing Twitter, transfer news, waiting for a striker to be signed, struggling through games without one. People trying to say, "Oh, well, it's okay. We actually don't need a striker or a centre back, or pick your position that we haven't filled." So there'll be somebody there to say, "Oh, it doesn't matter. We don't need them anymore." That's not true, and that's like the Kool-Aid people are drinking, and I don't know why they're drinking it. It's like, it doesn't make sense. People need to wake up and realise that we do need more than what we're currently getting.
Like last season as well.
That includes the ownership, and that includes the board and the Speakman and Harvey and everybody else. Like, it isn't enough what we're doing now. We know it's not enough, because the same things keep happening, and until that changes, then what? Nothing is going to change unless we make it change, is it?
No. Well, you're right, and you've got, like, had we addressed this and bought a ready. You can't guarantee a striker's going to, when I say ready-made, you can't guarantee we're going to buy one and he's going to score 20. You can't do that. But you could buy someone who's ready to play almost every game. And had we done that, now you're like maybe waiting for, his name is just on my head, he wouldn't be available for us. I imagine a Cole Palmer on loan, for example. Yeah. You're like, right, great. Like, if he comes in as well, this is great. Now you're like, well, we need 2 strikers, because one isn't enough. Like one more isn't enough, because Stewart might not. Hamir clearly, Mowbray has said isn't ready. He doesn't look anywhere near ready. Like, you need to bring. We also need a midfielder.
Yeah, that, and it's also like they're trying to push out Danny Bart. They're trying to get rid of Pritchard and trying to get rid of Gooch. They've told them that they can leave if they get a bid in.
Yeah.
And then you've got 3 more positions where we don't have enough depth or enough proven quality. And like we can't rule out that some Premier League club towards the end of the window goes, all right, here's like 13 million for Jack Clark.
Yeah. What do we do then?
And then it's like, well, we're going to have to sell him because it's like we're not going to get a better offer than that. And
but the issue with that is the selling clause, isn't it, for Spurs?
Yeah. So, again, there's
so if we won't get anywhere near 30 million, we'll get half of it,
a percentage.
And then how much of that can we spend? You know what I mean? It's like
when everybody knows you've just got this big blob of money.
Yes.
I don't know. It's annoying, but I feel like we do this. We certainly did it at the beginning of last season. We definitely did it at the beginning of that League One campaign. And it's so like banging your head against the wall when you see like.
That's how I feel. It wears me down. Like I get sick of talking about it because I don't like to talk about the club in these terms, but I feel like we have to do it. Because if we're not saying it, like who
else to talk about?
Like we can't just sit here and be like, oh yeah, like this is great. Like it's really good that we're going into the third game of the season with a wildly unbalanced squad that's fully down to our own making. We've signed loads of players that play the same position without signing any players in positions that we actually need players for. And I'm not saying that like the signings are bad, but what I am saying is that like it seems weird to sign, for example, 2 centre halves when we needed a defensive midfielder. To sign attacking midfielder signing, we're not signing players that are A, ready and B, really in the positions that we need them. Like, yes, we did need defensive cover, but surely if you keep Danny Bart, you only need one new centre half because you've already got Ballard. And giving Ballard a new deal was great. That was one of the positives of the window for me so far. It's hitting Sirkin as well. They've got new deals. Both of that's good. But then
Hume as well.
And Hume, sorry, yeah. But like that. Then if that's the case, why also sign more and more defenders? Like surely we need to be looking at elsewhere.
They're just signing people, looking at them going, oh, he'll be worth a lot in a few years.
Yeah, that's what worries me, because like that is clearly what they're doing. And I don't necessarily disagree that it's not a bad thing to do, but you got to have a squad ready to play. Like we've got to give these players the kind of facilitate them actually being able to play in a good team to be in the shop window. Because, like, let's be honest, these players are not going to be worth very much if they're scrapping for relegation and championship. Not that I'm saying we will do, but if we're not playing well and winning games, these players aren't going to be worth very much because nobody's going to be looking at them.
It's also a point of like,
and that seems obvious.
It's also a point of like, who cares if they're good in like 3 years? Like, I really don't care. Like at this moment in time, it's like, lots of things can happen in like the space of 3 years. They could have injuries, they could have whatever. And buying like 18-year-olds, it looks good. It's like, oh man, you got this new like wonder kid or whatever. But you can't just like, for example, like Job, we can't play him. You're not supposed to play a 17-year-old every single game because they'll just get burnt out. It's like
exactly. We've seen it happen. Literally seen it happen.
Yeah, we saw it happen under Lee Johnson, where we got to January and all our players are absolutely knackered. We saw it last season. Everyone got injured because they can't last a full season just being absolutely ragged every game. And it's all well and good saying, oh, these will be good in 4 or 5 years. They might be absolutely done in after 4 or 5 years.
Yeah.
No one knows.
And and also, this is a bit of a bugbear of mine. Can we stop making out that Chris Rigg is going to be this like, this is the guy. This is the guy. We've stopped him from going to Newcastle.
It's too much pressure on him.
It's too much pressure on him, and I think it just masks other things that are like wrong. To stop saying that Chris Rigg is going to be our be all and end all, and just sign some fucking players.
Yeah, I think with Rigg, he's clearly a massive prospect, and I think like. He's a hugely talented footballer and has shown that. He's 16 years old.
He's 16.
Yeah. He literally was doing his GCSEs last year.
Yeah.
Like you say, Tom, like we can't hang our hats on that. And that's like the kind of good news story used to like brush the other things under the carpet in a way, which is kind of like, obvious when you take a step back and look at it, you're like, well, it's obvious like that this isn't enough, but what worries me is like I keep saying, like, why are they not seeing this, or are they seeing it and they just can't do anything about it? Both of those scenarios are worrying in different ways.
Yeah.
Very much so. Well, anyway, that's probably enough on that, purely because it's been half an hour.
Yeah.
And,
Well, we're just
I need to be
following.
more. I need to be more positive. I don't
We're
know what's happening
following
to
on
me.
from Gareth's trend of saying that everything is pointless. and we
everything
sh-
is, of course, completely pointless. Life through nature is pointless, and will. Well, actually, we'll take a break, a pointless break, where
Pointless
we won't
break.
actually go anywhere, and then we'll just pretend we did, and then we'll come back to talk about, well, a little bit of the Rotherham game, and we've got some questions. Welcome back to the Wise Men Say podcast. As mentioned at the top of the show, Sunderland face Rotherham United on Saturday. Does anyone know anything about Rotherham?
Other than that, they're not very good. No,
They're not very good. They've got some strikers though, which
Have
is
they?
good.
they do.
Yeah.
They do. Yeah. No, in all seriousness, like I think that they are probably quite lucky to stay up last season. They've not
Beat
had
us
a
last
great
season.
start. They did. They did. I don't know. I just think that it's probably quite a good game for us insofar as, like, it's on paper
It's the
winnable.
perfect game for us to win, and then people will go see.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. Getting back to what we were saying before, I actually think that if even, I mean, I know that probably maybe my view of how we played in the previous two games is maybe slightly different, because I didn't think we were that bad in either, apart from very specific flashes of basically what I'm saying is, like, if we dominate the game and create the chances like we did in the other two games against this Rotherham team, I think we should win.
Yeah, I would agree with
But
that.
I agree with Matt as well that shouldn't be used to mask the issues that are still there. Like, if we, I think we should and probably will win. Like that we need that, and that's great. But this needs to be the start of, like, let's actually, get things back to where they need to be, rather than like, let's just pretend everything's fine because we've won a football match.
Yeah, I think I think that's a good point. I think in terms of team selection, it's like, well, there's probably not going to be that many changes, is there? Because there aren't really.
I think you'll see a team without a striker.
Yeah, we will. I would imagine. I think he'll start. I would imagine he'd start Pritchard up, but not Dak. Maybe, I don't know. I thought.
Yeah, I mean, that looks all right. I mean, I think to be honest, like, you can tell he's definitely got a bit, hasn't he? Technically,
Yeah.
He seemed very comfortable. He's also, like, very, he in many ways is the profile of player I wish we had a few more of, insofar as he's played a lot of games at this level. He clearly backs himself to play. He knows he's not going to be phased by playing a sort of a dirty Rotherham sort of away part of the bus type performance. He was quite happy mixing it at Preston. Now, obviously, he's not 100% fit and probably shouldn't be starting games, and wouldn't be if he didn't need to be. But yeah, maybe switch him and Pritchard around in terms of the false nine, if you like. Hemia probably isn't going to start, is he?
Well, I know, and you look at Hemia and you think, well, if you're not starting this game, if you're not starting at home against, no disrespect to Rotherham,
could be a good way to
the favourites for relegation. I think they are. No, if you're not starting them as the number 9, then I don't really see what game you're going to be involved in, to be honest. So I don't.
I guess right now, although obviously, like, as the season goes on, as he gets more minutes here and there, he could. But I see what you're saying. Like, on paper, you'd say, well, surely if you're going to start him against anyone, you're starting against these.
Well, you would think so, but I don't think he will. I don't think Mowbray fancies him.
He's not really ready to start for the first team, is he? Because he's not. I mean, he's only started one first team game in his career, and that was it. That was Ipswich.
Yeah,
and then he was dropped
a long way off.
Yeah.
Any other changes really? I don't really think I would maybe swap Neil and Equa around. I think.
Neil plays the defensive side better than Equa, I think, doesn't he?
Yeah, I would agree. Any surprises, Tom? Any curveball selections?
I don't know. A curveball would be starting Danny Bart.
Yeah.
Oh, that would be amazing.
It's just like, why if they,
even if they're going to sell him, just use him while he's here.
No, just don't. Like, first of all, don't sell him, because there's no point. What we're going to get, like 100 grand. It's just exactly. Just might as well put him in the team, and I don't know, like put 09 where he's more effective, or like right back or something. Or not in the team.
Yeah, if you're going to play him, play him at right back. Hume struggled a bit. And I'm not advocating dropping Hume, like, but
No, but then
Nine's best position is at right back.
yeah, it is because he's not a centre half, and I don't know what he is, but like just play.
He's ideally a utility player who's used when he has to be.
Yeah,
but not like a starting. He shouldn't be a third. For me, he doesn't start in our best 11 in any position, but he's useful to have.
Yeah,
if needed.
Yeah. They also said that Gooch could be fit again.
Yeah,
so that's good.
See him on the bench, definitely.
So that's also a good option. So Riggs out because he's got concussion. Jensen sealed. See, the thing is, like, I'm quite interested to see what he's like when he's fit because, like, I think he seems like an actual proper player.
Well, he was playing it. He played a bit of Eredivisie for his PSV last season. Yeah, so he can't be that. I mean, even throughout this, I know he hasn't looked like amazing so far, but I feel like he seems to have a bit of, like, I don't know. I think he'll probably. No, I'm not convinced yet, but I think I don't think I'm not going to. Basically, I see something. I think I see something where I think he was looking good. I think he'll be like. Remember when Hume first came from Ireland, and it took him a while to actually get up to speed, and he needed minutes, but you couldn't give him too many minutes because he hadn't played at it. Because, like, obviously the A-League isn't really anything to write home about in terms of quality, but I feel like he's got a bit of intensity. I feel like he gives me the same vibes that Hume did when we signed him. As far as, like, I think he could come good, but I think Seal will be a step or two ahead of him. Also, we did pay money for Seal as well, didn't we? So
yeah, we did.
Yeah,
presumably, if they're actually spending money, presumably they're going to want to play him. If nothing else, so they can sell him.
Well, yeah, I think you sell him now, actually. I don't really have anything else to add other than
I'll say Rotherham have former Sunderland transfer target Tom Eaves up front. They bought him last year, and he's played 20 games and scored 0 goals. So he's scoring on Saturday.
Yeah, I'll be getting that one on, definitely. That's a good tip there from Tom.
3-1 Eaves to Rotherham.
I don't think Rotherham will score 3, mind.
No, I'm saying we'll score 3.
I was like, I was going to come to predictions. 3-1 for you, Tom.
I think we'll win 1-0.
Yeah, I think we'll win 1-0 as well. An own goal. Sort of say, like,
from Tom Eaves.
Yeah, from Tom Eaves. Yeah.
1-0, so it's like we can't even say that. Our striking problem.
That would be perfect. Actually, that's kind of the ideal result, really. We have got a couple of questions. One of them is from Tony H, but this is more of a question for Chris, and I think we've kind of covered it a little bit. His question is: does the evidence we have to date give us any kind of confidence that KLD and the ownership group can finance SCFC to the level required and then compete? Because they're already skimping on off the pitch issues as well as on the field, and I think there is no confidence in that at all.
I think he's answered his own question.
Yeah, I would agree. Yeah, but I agree. But then he also asked
there is no evidence
what my favorite color of Lego is, and I would say probably red. I like red Lego.
Right. Yeah.
Most of the other questions are about crisps.
Okay.
So we have.
I do love crisps.
Salt and vinegar or prawn cocktail?
Oh, they're two of my favourites.
Yeah,
two of my favourites. The problem is, it's like I'd always go salt and vinegar, but if you got prawn cocktail as well available,
I know, yeah,
because it's not as always readily available. Oh no, I'll go prawn cocktail.
Well, salt and vinegar for me. I think Justo, they are two of the best ones. Yeah. And then Jamie's asked, what colour do you think of when you think of the flavour salt and vinegar? Green,
blue. Blue for me.
Wow. See,
I don't know why.
I always imagine
because McCoy's is blue.
McCoy's is blue.
That's
the best crisps.
Grey.
Right? Have I just? Are you old enough to remember when Walker's changed it from
Yes,
blues?
I was talking about this the other day, and Richard was like, "No, what?"
And people are saying that it wasn't a thing.
It was a thing.
Is this one of those Mandela effect things?
No, because it actually happened.
Did it happen or didn't it happen? I remember. Well, Yeah, because it must have been in like the mid-90s that they changed it.
Yeah, I do
They
remember
changed
that.
them over.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I'm the same age as you, Tom. So if you remember it, I'm going to say I remember it
Yeah.
as well, just because you do.
Thanks, mate.
Even though
Yeah.
my memory's terrible. So I'm assuming I've forgotten it.
Right. No, I do distinctly remember it because I remember when they changed to green, Walker's crisp, and I was like, wow, this is like well different.
Yeah.
But then I've asked my parents, they're like, no, that didn't happen.
It did happen.
It did happen.
It did happen. If anyone has any evidence that this happened,
Yeah.
well, we have another crisp question. He says this is from John G, the Roker End dweller, who a great tweeter, actually a great tweeter. Have you tried Cathedral cheese and onion in brackets big bag from Iceland? The first among its flavour. And then he says,
like Cathedral City.
And then he says,
cheese.
Yeah, I presume so. Yeah.
Yeah.
So then he says he tells a story of he once nearly went to the walk-in centre the night after trying root vegetable crisps as his piss was red. But then his lass educated him on food colorings, so I saved the NHS a good old giggle, which is
that is a good tweet.
That is a good tweet, yeah. And there are any more crisps. Neil Macbeth says, should they bring back hedgehog flavour crisps?
that definitely wasn't a thing.
I don't think that was a thing.
Did you mean like Sonic the Hedgehog?
Like, yeah, what did they taste
like blue?
Well, no, I think they might be like branded. You know, like you remember like I'm thinking like Tazo's era. You know, because that was like Looney Tunes.
Yeah, but they weren't flavored by
hedgehog.
Just like...
That's true.
Like a hedgehog would taste like, I don't know.
Look, I remember spiky, wouldn't it?
I remember my just every bite. It's delicious, but it hurts.
It's really nice.
It's I've never. Can you even eat hedgehogs? I'm sure you can.
It's probably frowned upon. Like, I wouldn't like. There's plenty of them if you want to go out on a night and just pick one up and boil it.
Start chomping on it. See,
I'm not advocating. Just like I say, we're not under no circumstances do you boil a hedgehog.
I imagine that it tastes a bit like rabbit.
Yeah,
that kind of thing. My dad once bought the Quayside Market in Newcastle. They do like a farmer's market. My dad once bought squirrel from there.
All right. Well, I imagine that wouldn't be too dissimilar.
I just think there'd not be much meat on it.
No, so it'd be like eating a mole.
Bit gamey.
Just a bit like
the thing is,
like loads of animals that you shouldn't eat, really.
Do you want this mole pie?
Would you like? I've made this hedgehog stew. Does anyone fancy any? Like, no, mate.
No.
You all right? Like, could you not do that? Well, yeah. Anyway, if you've eaten a hedgehog, don't do that. But if you've eaten a hedgehog, then let us know what it tastes like. If you can talk after your mouth's all
you have to put a lot of prickly things.
Then get in touch, and it's nice to be back, isn't it? Really, talking about boiling hedgehogs.
After all the good praise we had during the week, I'm glad we finally dragged everyone back down to our level.
It's been a very enjoyable chat.
Hey, you got 20 minutes of footballing debate, which we do every season.
Hey, and also you asked.
Yeah.
We just give the people what they want, really.
Yeah. There are more questions, but I'll save them for next week. There'll be probably a reaction podcast on Saturday after the game. We might have some away fan stuff. I've not been given that, so I don't know yet. But listen to that if we put it out and go and read the stuff on the website. I imagine Richard's newsletter will be out tomorrow.
Didn't even put mine out last week.
Check your junk folder for that, and then
we've got you got a live show soon.
Oh yeah, we've got
October, isn't it?
Yeah, we got a live show on the 6th of October at Pop Rex in Sunderland. Tickets are, I really should check how much the tickets are. They are some money. I didn't know how much they were. I think they're about £12, which is worth every penny. We've got some guests there. including, I believe, Phil Smith, Nick Barnes, Kevin Ball, I think. Yeah.
Maybe.
Jill Scott. No, I've just made that up. So go and do that. Join the fantasy league, and if you're top of that at the end of August, you get a free ticket for the live show.
Just what?
You get, I don't know, 6 then.
You're just not allowed to bring anyone else.
You
have
just
to
can't
bring
anyone.
one.
Yeah, you have to go on your own and sit at the front.
Yeah.
But yeah, go and do all of that stuff. We'll be back with some kind of reaction on Saturday. Gareth and Stephen will be back on Monday. And thanks very much, as always, for listening.